How's it going, everyone? Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome to Geekin' Out, where we basically discuss everything nerd and geek related. In this episode, we are going to be doing another segment on Knowing That Artist, and I'm joined here by Neff Artist Cause, and the third segment for Knowing That Artist Makeup Artist Edition. How are we doing tonight, Neff?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing really well. Again, thank you for coming on to want to talk about what it's like being a makeup artist.
Yeah, of course.
So to begin, how long have you been a makeup artist for and how long have you been doing makeup for?
I've been doing makeup since geez, probably 11 or 12 is when I really started getting into doing real makeup. And that was 10 years ago, 11 years ago. Um, and I started really getting into it, especially for cosplay, also around that time. And I started professionally training 2 years ago.
Nice. So what has it been like doing makeup professionally for the past 2 years?
It's been interesting. It's been difficult right now. I haven't had a whole lot of opportunities to find stable makeup gigs because of the pandemic. But I've really been making a lot of personal efforts to improve my skills. So that's been really nice, just having a lot of time to myself to improve how I would like to improve.
Nice. Now, do you remember the very first makeup you did on yourself professionally?
Professionally, my first makeup course was like my first real makeup course was in summer of 2020. So I guess maybe that would count as a professional makeup because it was for I was being graded essentially. It was a pass fail. Um, I was doing coursework with cinema makeup school. So I think it was I did a makeup for Beelzebub from Good Omens as my like makeup final. So that was a lot of fun.
Nice. Now, Beelzebub, that's oh god. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. They have like I can't remember what they look like, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, they've got like a bunch of nasty like boils on their face and like
Okay, the one who usually
yeah,
who always scolds Crowley.
yes, exactly.
Nice. What was that like doing for your final? You said that was for your final assignment.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We were just supposed to do the makeup, but I know I always like to go a little bit above and beyond. So I ended up styling a wig for it. So I had a wig on as well, and I modified like a suit jacket that I had, and basically did a closet cosplay version of it, and then ended up modifying the costume and taking it to a contest online and winning best in show with it or best craftsmanship. So it was
Nice,
fun because it was a character that I cared about, and I got to pass my class with it. So
nice. How long did it take you to do the makeup for Beelzebub?
the first time I did it, I think it took me about an hour and a half. I think we had like 2 hours of prep work that we were allowed to do, and then we had to submit our photos because this is all online. So we had to do it from home. So I think we had 2 hours for to do our final makeup and submit it. And I think it took me about an hour and a half because I ended up doing some like photo shoot style photos after I did the makeup. And I think, yeah, it took about an hour and a half.
Nice. And you said you went to school for this to do makeup. What was that like going to school to learn how to do more makeup?
It was a really wonderful experience. I actually had toured the school in person um, about a year previously, and it was really amazing to see. I had never been to a makeup school before, it was really incredible to see a space that was entirely engineered for creating makeup like what I wanted to do potentially professionally. And while I couldn't attend that school in person, it was really great to train with one of the professors that was there, um, in sort of a condensed online way. So it was really great. I feel like I learned a lot, even though the techniques were things that I was already familiar with. It was really wonderful to finally learn from a professional in more of a one-on-one setting.
Very nice. Now, have you ever done makeup for like theater productions or anything like that?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. All through high school, I did theater. And that's when I decided that I never wanted to do theater again. Uh, it's a difficult industry. It's brutal. Not to say that the film industry is not, but theater is a whole beast. A lot of actors actually know how to do their basic stage makeup. So I would sort of teach them how to do it, and they would kind of do it on their own. But I remember doing a production of Night of the Living Dead, so I got to do a lot of zombie makeup, um, and that was a lot of fun. When I did theater in college, I didn't do a whole lot of makeup. It was mostly costuming.
But I'm sure the actors appreciated, you showing them how to properly apply makeup and everything.
I hope so. They did a pretty okay job. They did a pretty good job.
Nice. So, what was it like doing zombie makeup for? And this is the original 1960 Night of the Living Dead, not the 1991, correct?
I think so. It was a modified for like high school theater script. So, and I truthfully, I hate zombie movies. They really freak me out. I really don't like them. So it's been a while since I've seen Night of the Living Dead, but I remember having a lot of fun with it because we all kind of got paired up with one or two different actors. And I was lucky enough to get paired up with someone that I already knew. So it was a really easy partnership with her. So we got to kind of develop her zombie, and that was a lot of fun.
Nice. I feel like as a makeup artist, when it comes to working on a theater production, a movie, TV show, whatever, I think it's good to get along with the actor or model, just so you know what they like and don't like and everything, because they're your biggest critic and everything before you go on stage.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's really important to know their personality and their temperament. And, you really don't want to like rile up the person who is like, they could potentially get you fired, which is kind of scary. But also, you know, they're just also another person. They're just trying to do their jobs and trying to enjoy their work. So keeping that in mind has always been very helpful for me.
Oh no, most definitely. Um, Now this is a question I usually don't ask till like later. Ever had like any makeup mishaps, whether it's on yourself or someone else before? Like it
Oh,
was like
yeah.
like allergic reaction or something, or they had an because I know some people have like a latex allergy when it comes to liquid latex. Ever had to deal with anything like that before?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I am allergic to latex. I still put latex on my body all the time. Um, I also, so there's a few different adhesives that you can use for different makeup, different types of makeup. So whenever you put like a prosthetic on, you can use spirit gum, or the type of spirit gum that you can get at like in Halloween stores. They have spirit gum there. Um, some people use straight up liquid latex, which is crazy. I definitely don't recommend that. But there's also a medical adhesive called Prozaid or Prozaid. And this is supposed to be like the most neutral adhesive, like no one is supposed to be allergic to it.
Yeah, I
Some
actually have heard of Prozac. Most people actually do use that to keep the prosthetics on a lot longer.
Yes, I highly, highly recommend Prozaid. It definitely takes some practice getting it right. But it is the most reliable, and it's fairly easy to access. So I definitely recommend Prozaid. Somehow I have had a negative, I wouldn't say allergic reaction to it, but definitely my skin acted up to Prozaid like 3 or 4 times, which is crazy because it's supposed to be like you're not supposed to be allergic to it, but somehow it gets to me.
Now, what's the biggest makeup project you've done either on yourself or someone else when it's come to applied prosthetics?
Um, Jeez, I might have to take a look at my portfolio real quick.
You're perfectly fine.
Um,
Um, while you're doing that, I gotta ask you, what was it like doing the makeup of Ravi Largo from Repo the Genetic Opera?
oh, he was so fun. So Pavi is one of my favorite
Pavi, thank
characters.
you. Not,
No, you're fine.
I almost said Rati Largo, the father.
Roti, yeah, that's his dad.
So,
Yeah. So Pavi is one of my favorite characters of all time. Which is funny because I only just recently watched that movie for the first time in October. Um, and I literally was in like a mad dash to like pull together a costume for him because I was so obsessed. Um, it was really fun. I really would like to do a three-dimensional mask someday. But I think I really pulled off the aesthetic of his face masks, and I think it looks great. I'm looking at the pictures right now, and I'm
yeah, no,
impressed
I'm
with
looking at
myself.
it too. And had you not told me, I would have like been like convinced that the staples were like props on the.
Oh yeah. No, that was all two-dimensional. I used a so the whole thing I based in Mayron's Clown White
Good brand,
paint.
by the way.
Yes, it's one of my favorite products, probably of all time. And I put like I have a really nice shimmery silver eyeshadow, and I just kind of packed it on top and did the shadowing around it, and it looked really great in photos. Um, so it was a lot of fun. Definitely, I would say that one took me a little bit under an hour. Um, it wasn't too difficult actually. It was just a lot of fun.
Nice. Sorry about that. I think my headphones may be picking up some there we go. For anyone who maybe listened to this, if you heard an echo, my headphones weren't fully plugged in.
Sounded fine over here, so hopefully it picked up okay.
Oh no, it's picking up fine. There just may be an echo for like the first 13 minutes. So anyone who's listening to this, I do apologize. So you used the Baron Clown White makeup for Pavi's mask face paint.
hmm
So how did you go about to applying the bare skin? Did you apply that first or after you painted the main part of his mask?
Like the burned section of his face.
Yeah, that.
So I blocked out the basic forms of the mask first, and got that all filled in. And then behind it, I used a Ben Nye. Actually, you know what? It's a Ben Nye Clown White product. My bad. I used a Ben Nye cream paints to kind of create that really nasty kind of mottled look. Because there's only one shot in the movie that you can see his fully exposed face.
Yeah,
So
I remember that. It's man, it's definitely been a long time since I've seen that.
yeah, it's only like a 1 second. You really only, if you blink, you miss it. But I found some behind the scenes photos of his full face. So I used those as a reference and just kind of felt it out and did what looked nice. It was a lot of shading and using lighter, like flesh tone colors that were lighter than my own skin tone to kind of make that like healed scar look. It was a lot of trial and error.
I believe it. How long did it take altogether to apply all the makeup, including like the lipstick and everything for Pavi?
Um, Including makeup and costume, it probably took about an hour. And then the photo shoot afterwards, I think I spent 4 hours in front of a camera,
Yeah, no,
maybe a little more.
it looks really well done. I can definitely tell there was a lot of trial and error, but you gotta like basically made the makeup look like the actual mask for the movie, which I have to say is really well done.
Well, thank you. It's one of my favorite looks. I'd love to take him to an in-person convention. So I'm glad that you like him.
Yeah, great movie by the way, and I really have to again I have to give props, pun intended here, to the makeup team. Without them, it wouldn't be as great. So I really have to give props to the makeup artists because they're the ones who have to like spend. I mean, the model of course has to sit there for hours on end, but as you know, the makeup team definitely makes it come to life.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Before so back to the one question. What would you say the hardest? Uh, what's it like? Rereading that. As I asked previously, what was the hardest prosthetic you ever had to apply on yourself or someone else?
Um, it was less of a prosthetic. So this was an what we call an out of kit makeup. So I didn't have any pre-prepared prosthetics. It was all things that I pulled from my kit and put onto my body and sculpted on my body. If you take a look at my Instagram and scroll for a little bit, you'll see my Corpse Bride cosplay.
Yeah, I'm looking at yeah, I'm looking at her right now.
Yeah, so the arm, the skeletal arm, I did that by cutting um, one leg out of a pair of black tights, painting the bones onto the tights, and then like sticking the tight to my skin with a combination of Prozaid and a product called Third Degree, and basically sculpting that like mangled bit of flesh that exposes her bones. And I did this in 2018, I think was when I took her out. So I was still relatively inexperienced. I think I was freshly 18. So I was still learning, and having that, it looks pretty good in pictures, but having that on my body all day um was really a struggle. Um I think that was the hardest look physically. The Corpse Bride outfit was really a physical experience. So I would say her, she was really difficult on me. I have not had to do a whole lot of prosthetic application on other people. Um, so, maybe in the future I will, but if I had to pick something that was just a real trial for me personally, it was the Corpse Bride.
And I take it she's the one where you've nearly had to do full on body paint too, or were there others you had to like were just full body paint from head to toe?
So I did body paint on my chest, my back, my face, and my right arm. My left arm was, like I said, the black tights. Luckily, I didn't have to do my legs because I could just wear colored tights. Um, and think I used a water-based paint. I think I used just like really cheap face paint, but I based it with a lot of moisturizer and I did everything I could to make it a little higher quality. And honestly, it looks really great. I'm really impressed with myself at my skill level at that time, being able to pull that off all day. Um, the struggle was really getting it on. I think it took like 3.5 hours to get the whole thing on. And then just keeping it on and having those contacts in, and I couldn't see, and having the wig on and the corset. It was really physically challenging.
I imagine, and I imagine it was the same when you were doing when you did your Hellboy makeup too.
Oh, yeah, I was even less experienced. That was, I think, 2017. So I was still in high school when I did that one. Um, and that was the first time I think maybe ever that I applied the prosthetics. So that was the first time I did it. And I actually did not protect my hair at all. And I didn't realize how much of the third degree, which is what I used to put on the horns, I didn't realize how much of that had gotten in my hair. So I ended up having to like really slowly, really carefully pull it like strand by strand out of my hairline. And I I did not cry, but I really wanted to cry.
Yeah, I believe it. Um, again, also like really good job on the contouring by the cheeks too to give that edgy look too. I think.
Oh, thank you.
Um,
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
between Hellboy and Emily from Corpse Bride, which one would you say took the, or I guess in general, out of full body makeup you've done, what would you say took the longest?
Corpse Bride, for sure. There was a lot of shadowing that I did um, because she's dirty in the movie. Like she's got a lot of dirt on her. She comes out of the ground. She's a corpse. So I had to do a lot of distressing on top of the paint job that I already did. Versus Hellboy is a little like cleaner looking, a little shinier. So I could really just put down a couple layers of the red paint and I was good to go. I just did a little bit of contouring on my collarbones and my cheekbones, and making sure that it didn't look like a flat red paint job, but it was a little bit less effort. Um, and I didn't have to do my full arms. I think I stopped the paint at my shoulders, and then I did my left hand in the red paint. But the right arm was covered by the right hand of doom, which I built. So
Really? That's
yeah,
impressive. That's really impressive.
thank you. Yeah, it
Definitely,
was one of
definitely a question for when we ever do a cosplay interview for you about that. Because that's separate, but I definitely have questions about that.
my. Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, no, the contouring with Corpse Bride, you definitely got it to where because in the movie, like her face is super thin because she's been dead for who knows how long. So you definitely
Right.
um, so the one side of her cheek where it's exposed bone. How did you do that? Because I'm like looking real closely. It looks like you did like that like a scar type makeup where it looks like your skin's being ripped.
Yeah, so I used third degree for that. There was a time in my life where third degree was my favorite thing in the world. Uh, and now I barely touch the stuff, honestly. But I used third degree for that. I just kind of drew out the basic shape of where, um, kind of in between where my teeth actually lay in my face and my bone structure, and where the wound was on her face on the puppet. Um, and I kind of found a happy middle ground to make sure that it looked right. Um, and I just kind of laid down the third degree as flat as I could, and once that set, kind of painted into it. Something really interesting about the puppet for her that they did. Not a whole lot of the other puppets have a whole lot of open wounds. Some of them do, but something that I kind of noticed was wherever you would see normal blood flow in like a regular human person,
Mm-hmm.
it would be red, but for her, it was different shades of blue. So, using the principles that I use with regular human blood, but translating that into a blue scale was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it looks like you did. Um, now, now looking on your Instagram, I think since you're like the since you're the third one, and since I haven't seen any, since I haven't really mentioned about the other guests because I haven't seen a whole lot of it. What's it like doing blood and gore makeup, like cuts, bruises, skin tearing, stuff like that? What's it like doing that type of special effects makeup?
Yeah, so when I first started out, when I was a kid, that was the first thing that I was interested in, because I feel like it's a little more, the information on how to do that is a little more accessible. Um, I wouldn't say it's easier than doing like basic corrective makeup or beauty makeup. But it is when you're like 11 or 12, it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more interesting. So it used to be really, really fun for me. Now that I feel like I've sort of mastered that skill as much as I can at this point, um, it's very routine, which is good, if you're doing this professionally. It's not something that I necessarily choose to do. It's not my favorite aspect of makeup, but it has gotten me very far. It's where I started. It was my original stepping block. I enjoy doing two-dimensional painted on wounds a little more than I like doing 3D stuff. Um I couldn't tell you why. I think I just really enjoy the process of making something flat on the skin that looks three-dimensional, kind of like what I did with Pavi. Like it looks really real and really tangible, but it's flat on the skin.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it looks convincing, but again, I'm looking at the one where it's the what was it the blisters on your skin, like. I have to say, and with your permission, would it be okay if I show this during during the when the podcast airs?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So I'm definitely gonna put like a fake gore warning, but I have to say, for someone who appreciates like the gory makeup in a lot of horror movies and action movies, eh, um, if you can remember, or if or just in general, what did you use to apply? Because I saw like you had like a quick little TikTok of it. What materials did you use to make the blisters on your neck and hands? Because again, they look convincing.
So, that was actually a pre-made gelatin mixture that I got when I did this course with Cinema Makeup School. They sent me a bunch of products included with my tuition. And gelatin is kind of the industry's like poor man's silicone. So when you don't have enough money or the materials to do full silicone prosthetics, you can use gelatin. And so that can create some really nice flesh-like textures. And when it touches your skin, the warmth of your skin really helps blend it out with the rest of your, real human flesh. Um, it's it there's definitely a learning curve when working with it, and I truly don't like working with it. Fun fact about me, I've been vegan for 5 years, so I don't love working with gelatin,
Because of what it's
but
made from and everything.
right.
And
But
that's
it's
totally understandable. I'm sure there's a lot of artists out there who don't like using that material.
yeah, but it's part of the job. It's part of what I need to use to achieve the makeup that I need to achieve. Um, I am always looking for alternatives, but you know, it's what I have on hand, it's what's accessible, so I'm not too bothered by it. Um, but it does look pretty good.
Oh no, it looks again like I said the gory makeup and the blister. I just like it again. It looks convincing, and I have to give props just to makeup artists in general who can make um skin peeling off or stuff like that. I've seen a lot of gore makeup on like Instagram and TikTok and everything, and it's
Yeah,
just like, okay, I know it's fake, but it also looks real at the same time. The trauma makeup and everything.
for
Uh,
sure.
Now one question I've yet to ask. I kind of asked it in a drawing artist interview. Are there like any makeup artists like you look up to who are like inspiration to for you to continue what you do and enjoy it?
Yeah, so one of my professors actually, Michael Spatola, he's great. He's a great teacher. I really appreciate someone who can work professionally and then teach people in a compassionate and compelling way. I never felt like he was speaking down to me, and I really appreciate that from an industry professional. Um, Stylistically and career wise, I really, really look up to an artist called V Neil.
Ah,
She's,
yes, the host of
yeah,
Face Off.
yeah, she's really one of the most well known, and I really look up to her. I actually am lucky enough to be signed up to attend a course at her school this coming month. So
You may have a chance to get to meet her then.
yeah. Oh, yeah. She's teaching the course. I've actually met her once when I toured cinema makeup school. I met her in
Nice.
an elevator. I almost fell over because I was not expecting to see
It was
her.
kind of like an oh shit, there's V Neil. Like
Exactly.
you don't know how to react.
And suddenly she's in the elevator with me, and I was like, "Oh my god!
I
Oh my god, it's
mean,
me, Neil."
from Edward
She's
Scissorhands
really
to
incredible.
I mean, from Edward Scissorhands to Mrs. Doubtfire to a whole lot of like holy shit. I
Yeah,
mean,
the
I,
Hunger Games, all kinds of stuff. She's really wonderful.
Lost Boys, just
Yeah, yeah.
it's it's crazy. And you are allowed to cuss on here because this podcast doesn't get posted until like 5 p.m.
Oh,
at
okay,
at
great.
night. So you're good. I let that slide. You know,
Okay.
any other daytime podcast, I'll let you drop one f bomb. But like here, if you want to cuss, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, like beating V Nil and the fact that you get to attend one of her courses, you said.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, so she just recently opened a new makeup school. It's owned by her and Lee Joyner, who is another fantastic artist.
Lee who?
And they're doing beta courses right now, and I'm signed up for the second wave of like tester courses. So
Lee Joyner. I'm looking up him too.
yeah, he's really great. I talked to him. He's like the education coordinator. I've talked to him a couple times. He's a great guy.
Oh yeah, no, I'm looking at some of his like he. I'm looking at some of his pictures, and it looks like he was like doing a Cthulhu like statue.
Yeah.
Nice.
Um,
Yes.
he's really great. On a smaller scale, one of my someone that I sort of talked to online, her their handle is Jess is a gosh darn mess. She's really cool. She makes really great stuff, really dramatic makeup. She did a Lord Farquaad cosplay recently, and the makeup on that is just hilarious. It is,
I'm looking her up right now. Shout out to Jess is a gosh darn. Wow, that's did she use
it's
prosthetics
funny.
or is that? Oh no, that wow. That's it's God, it's crazy. Her in Silco and everything. It's
Yeah, I
okay.
actually started talking
I
to
have
her.
heard of her before. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I saw her grave robber cosplay from Repo, and I sort of reached out and was like, I love that. I just cosplayed Pavi, and we actually have a mutual friend. So just, I just really enjoy her style, and I feel like our sensibilities are very similar, so really enjoy her stuff.
Nice. Speaking of, have you ever collabed with any other makeup artist before?
Um, Not really. I haven't done a whole lot of projects with other makeup artists. I was lucky enough to get involved with my friend Sparrowhawk cosplay, and I did actually some zombie makeup for her. Um, and that was a lot of fun. That was for a Resident Evil photo shoot that she did. Um, and that was a lot of fun. I just did it, that was one of the first gigs I did sort of coming out of the pandemic, and I just did it for her as a favor, and it was a lot of fun, a really really great time.
Nice. Very nice. Now, are there any throughout three more questions? Are there any makeups you're looking forward to doing in the future that you haven't done yet but would love to do, whether it's full body paint, prosthetics, stuff like that?
A lot of cosplans. I'm excited to do. I posted a cosplan for Tanelier Tavan, the collector from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Ooh, I know. Does he have like
Uh,
some kind of like blue streak on his? I know he always like some blue makeup or something on his
yeah, so he
face.
has like a black streak on his lip. I think you're thinking of the Grand Master, played by Jeff Goldblum, who I also really want to cosplay.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. Sorry,
Yeah, I'm excited for this one.
they're both just a whole level of sass.
Yeah, they're in the comics, they're brothers, which is cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, fun fact.
Huh. Okay, yeah, he does like have a black thing going down,
Yeah, I
and he has like a
really
like the black eyeshadow or something under his eyes.
yeah.
Huh.
I that's kind of how I do my everyday makeup. This is just kind of how I look. But I'm excited to I do a lot of blonde characters, but I can usually get away with not bleaching my eyebrows. I think I'll probably have to bleach out my eyebrows for this one.
Oh yeah, he's got some like his eyebrows are as bleached as Ciri's from season one of The Witcher,
Yeah, they are white. So
with a
I'm
capital
excited to do
W.
that. It's not super intense prosthetics or anything, but just having getting that vibe right, I think will be really important. Um, so that'll be fun. Oh, the same group of people who did Repo also made movies called The Devil's Carnival.
I have seen the
Yeah,
first one. It has, oh God, what is her name? She's a singer.
Emily Autumn.
Thank you. Yes, I have seen that
Yeah,
movie, and I love. Really, they made okay. Well, that makes sense now because some of the makeup and aesthetic both kind
yes.
of okay. I have heard of the Devil's Carnival, and I do kind of
Yeah,
see
it
the
was a bunch of the
similarities.
same actors, same actors as well. I truthfully, I wouldn't recommend watching it if I'm being honest.
I've seen it
It's
once. It was on Netflix. I
okay,
saw like on
yeah,
Netflix. I just saw it on Netflix like years ago. I was like, oh, it has Emily Autumn. Okay, oh wow.
yeah. It's just okay. I watched it with friends a couple times. I
It's not Repo.
appreciate it's not Repo, which if we're being honest, Repo, is it a good movie? No. Is it a fun time? Oh yeah.
Oh no, definitely. It's up there. I mean, there's also the not I mean not to stir away from this, but it's also the there's also the other Repo, which is more action thriller type, not like Repo the Genetic Opera,
Oh
which came
yeah, yeah,
first.
yeah. It's not a musical.
No. Um,
Uh,
but you were
but yeah,
saying
I'm gonna cosplay Painted Doll from um, Devil's Carnival. So that'll be a
is
really
that
fun.
the character that Emily Autumn plays?
Yeah, with the
I
like cracked face.
I gotta look. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at her now. Wow, yeah, no, look, that's really. Speaking of dolls, what was it like cosplaying as the doll from Resident Evil Village?
Oh, she was a blast. She's really fun. I took her to a contest actually, so it was really fun to just be her on stage and kind of walk around. The makeup was a lot of fun to do. Really fun photo shoot, and it was a fun costume to develop and make. But I think that the shading on the cracks that I did, that's probably it was a lot of fun.
Nice. No, I was looking at it because that's one of the questions I wanted to ask. Excuse me, ask. So a few more questions. Your main profile picture, who is that of?
So that's actually an original makeup that I did.
Nice.
for an online contest. It was just something. It was like based on uh, citizens of the capital from Hunger Games, and
Oh yeah,
um,
they definitely have that jesterish type makeup.
yeah, for sure. And so it was just something that I had developed. It was a lot of fun. Um, I had the nails on hand. I had that pink wig and that pink sweater. So um, it was a lot of fun to do.
Nice. So two more questions. What are some of your favorite makeups you've done aside from the ones we've talked about?
Hmm. I feel like we've covered a lot of the bases. I really enjoyed doing the makeup for Nadja from What We Do in the Shadows. Uh, Fairly simple, but I enjoy. I honestly, I'm a little insecure about my nose. I think most people are insecure about their noses. Nadja, the actress who plays her, has very strong features. So it was fun to really play on that and sort of gain some confidence in that sense. And people tell me I look a lot like her, so it was fun to play into that.
Nice.
Yeah, so Nadja's a lot of fun. Um, Medusa from Soul Eater is great. Really make my face look very snake-like. And the tattoos on the arms is always fun. So I
And
enjoy.
you painted those?
Yeah, so I used a stencil that I developed and cut out on my Cricut to do the snake head, but I just free-handed the little dots
Nice.
along the arms.
Very nice. Now the last question. Any advice for those who are thinking about wanting to do makeup professionally or get into doing makeup, whether it's like for theater, for a group of friends, cosplay, stuff like that? And a question I also didn't ask, for starters, what makeup would you recommend for someone who's also starting out?
I highly recommend Ben Nye products. Like I was saying, that the Ben Nye Clown White paint, that's one of my favorite faces. It's really great for familiarizing yourself with cream paints. If you're interested in giving alcohol paints a shot, definitely European body art. I love those. I have like a basic palette that I got through cinema makeup school that I love. I use it all the time. Um, and honestly, just trying different eyeshadow palettes from drugstores. Like I get a lot of my eyeshadow from Target. Um, Finding really good matte eyeshadows, like without any sparkle, those can give really compelling wound looks. A lot of bruise makeup I do with plain matte eyeshadow, nothing fancy. Um, so definitely, it's an investment, which is unfortunate. I wish it wasn't so expensive to. I mean, I probably have upwards of $5,000, $6,000 worth of makeup.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, probably that might be
I'm not
lowballing
judging,
it.
but it sounds like you at least it sounds like you put it to good use at least.
Yeah, I mean it's been years of you know collecting these items, and some things cost $10 and some things cost $400. Um, but it's just a lot of collecting, and you can really make your makeup last if you disinfect it. Always have some good 70% alcohol on hand in a spray bottle and just spray your stuff down whenever you get the chance, because that'll really help um, make your makeup last.
That's some really sound advice. I think that should do it. Anything else you want to add in real quick before we end this podcast?
Um, I think anyone that's just starting out with makeup, just keep practicing and take a lot of pictures. Always take pictures.
I cannot agree. And also, real quick shout out to Vespit. I want to thank him for recommending you for this secondary segment for knowing that artist.
Yeah, I really appreciate that they thought of me, that he was thinking of me.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I am able to get a hold of more people who are, who also do makeup and everything. So yeah, oh, again, much appreciated, and thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. And as always, I'm Wayne the Unknown. Thank you for listening to this segment for Geeking Out, Knowing That Artist. Until next time, thank you for watching.